Deirdre Barlow specs on, introducing you to part 2 of some footage of my lovely village. You're just going to have to deal with how bad my videos are for now. I will keep trying to get better, but I'm just not very good at this business. Anyway, so the second part of this is to just show you our end of the village. It is the most beautiful, beautiful village, and I personally believe that we live in the most beautiful part of it. But obviously, everybody who lives at the other end will tell you that theirs is the most beautiful part. But I just love ours because we can go over a slope, we can look at all the derelict houses, and then there's like almost like its own little village square. There's usually some goats there, which is always a great joy. There's a village spring there, and we took a walk down the side where we've previously looked at the woodland there and thought that looks like a good place for a dog walk because there's not as many animals around that I recognise at the moment. So none of my cats have turned up. I usually have Jas, my grey cat who comes in the house. I have a couple of tabbies. I have a fluffy black and white one. And they come without fail, and none of them have been. And Davy's lost a couple as well. Bagpuss, who he's had for donkey's years, and Shithead, who has always been one of his named cats that goes in and out of the house, just completely disappeared. And it makes me worry that maybe they've been poisoned, because they do that. The people who don't like animals, they put down food that's been like doused in antifreeze, and it's a horrible, horrible thing to do, but they do it anyway. But, my message there would be, people complain, they say, there's too many dogs in this village, too many strays. Well, I know it's not the villagers' fault because it's not them doing it, but, people need to stop dumping their dogs, get their dogs neutered. It's half the price it is in Bulgaria to get your animals neutered and vaccinated, and don't dump them in our village. Don't dump them in the local towns. It drives me insane. Anyway, before I go and show you the woodler, the walk I've been on, and again, mute me, enjoy the scenery. I just wanted to talk about why we don't live there full time, because a few people have asked, and I see a lot of people asking a lot of the time, because they're tempted by the cheap property. How easy is it to move to Bulgaria? And I know that one of the YouTubers I watched have just gone viral, about they've gone in every single newspaper in the UK, and good on them. But if I was them, I might be a little bit worried about my route into Bulgaria. So because the British people voted themselves out of the European Union, and I'd just like to put my hand up here and say I voted Remain. In fact, I didn't just vote Remain, I campaigned very strongly for Remain and got called quite a few unpleasant names in my time. I even put like little leaflets in copies of the Daily Mail in Sainsbury's. But people who are not me voted themselves out of the EU without realising that freedom of movement works both ways. And that you'd actually just voted for your freedom to travel freely around 20-odd countries in Europe. You just voted yourself out of that. And you voted me out of it as well, so thanks. So whereas previously, you could just remain in the EU for as long as you liked, that is no longer the case. And EU countries tie you to 90 days visa-free out of every 180. Now, currently I have a Azeri residency. It's temporary, it's work-based, and hopefully next year, there's many a slip yet between now and Romania, but hopefully next year I'll have a Romanian residency. And through that, I can apply for Chris to have a Romanian residency as well. We can't apply for Bulgarian residency because we simply don't qualify for it. The irony is that I have an online job. It's not this YouTube account, and I'm not an OnlyFans contributor. I mark exam papers, and I earn enough money doing that to support us both living in Bulgaria. However, that does not qualify me for a D visa. There is a thing about being a freelancer, but to do that, you have to take a test in Bulgarian. And as I previously said, my Bulgarian is absolutely shocking. There's a student visa if you're a full-time student. There's like refugee status visas, as there are everywhere in the world. But really is very, very difficult to get residency, and Bulgarians love bureaucracy. So if you've got €500,000, you can get a golden visa, and that will get you residency. If you own, a lot of people think, oh well, I have a company, I'll just get in on that. We have a company. You have to have a company to buy a house in Bulgaria. It means absolutely nothing. Your company has to employ, I think it's at least 8 Bulgarian people, and pay a regular wage to them. So if you're not doing that, your company won't qualify you. You could try and get a job. But again, the people who are employing you have to prove that they couldn't have given that job to a Bulgarian person. I applied for a job in a school there last year, and it's probably one of the only jobs I've ever applied for that I didn't get offered, which I was gutted about. But that was in an international English language school. And probably they didn't take me because they found somebody who had an EU visa and saved them an awful lot of paperwork. So there's that. There's the retirement visa, which is what we're going to go for. And for that, you have to prove that you have a regular income, and that it will support you. So ours will. I'm due my teacher's pension. I can claim it at 55, and that's perfectly legal way into it. And the one that a lot of people are doing if they didn't get their residency pre-Brexit is called a trade representative visa. And I don't know how to say this without, blowing people out of the water, but it costs a considerable sum of money for somebody to obtain you a trade representative visa. And I know of at least one group of people who were operating that kind of system, selling these trade rep visas over in Plovdiv, and the immigration authorities found out about it, and the whole system got closed down, and everybody got sent back to their home country who'd purchased one. So yeah, when people say, oh yeah, it's dead easy, we just did the trade rep route, do be careful, because it will cost you a lot of money. I'm talking, thousands per person. Eventually, the authorities will notice that certain individuals appear to have an awful lot of trade representative people going through their books, and they will look into it. And of course, for the first 5 years, you have to reapply for your residency every year. So, my question there would be, if you've used somebody to obtain you a trade representative visa and paid them a few €1,000 per person to get that, are they going to charge you again next year? Are they still going to do your paperwork for the next 5 years? Or are they just going to very nicely renew it for nothing at the end of each year? So please, 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 I don't want to diss how other people have done it. It's not how I would choose to do it. I'm going to go through the pension route. And it is my understanding, because I've asked people outright, that you can do it on a private pension. You don't have to wait till 65 to get a state pension. And because your pension only has to be the same as a Bulgarian minimum pension, it really only has to be about €150 a month, something like that. You also have to have the minimum wage in your bank account, which is €4,800 at the moment. And it doesn't have to stay there. You can take it out the next day, but you have to have it for your paperwork purposes. And you have to have it in a Bulgarian bank account. And as we found out this week, opening a Bulgarian bank account is becoming more challenging. I was lucky because I've had mine for over a year. And when we went to the bank with Carrie to open Chris's, they actually weren't going to give him one. They inquired about mine, and Carrie gave them the details of mine, and they were like, oh, okay, then if his wife's got one, he can have one. But they are cracking down on that as well. So please don't make huge plans thinking you can just get in your car and move to Bulgaria once you've bought a house, because you can't. And there are ways in, but they might end up costing you. But if you are, if you're close to my age, I'm 52, you haven't got that long to wait till everybody's got a work-based pension these days by law. So You haven't got that long to wait. Also, be aware that if you are on benefits, then the Department of Work and Pension won't allow you to leave the UK for more than 1 month at a time, because that happened to a friend of mine. So please be careful with that one as well. You might not even be able to do your 90 days in that case if someone reports you. So yeah, I'm sorry to be the bearer of grim things, but if we could move to Bulgaria tomorrow, we would, because I can support us there. But at the moment, it's just not possible for us unless we go down routes that I'm really not comfortable with. The good news is that it only takes one of us to qualify for the retirement visa. And then you can apply for your partner and children under 21, I think, to join you on family reconciliation or reunification. That's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, I don't know if that's interesting or helpful to anyone. I have looked into it extensively over the last 2 years. So, you know, I do know there are a lot of barriers to it, and anybody who lives there will tell you the same. So yeah, now I've just put a whole damper on things. Do enjoy watching me frolicking around the beautiful sights of my village. Peace out. This is the back of my next door neighbour's property. She is very old. Baba Walnut Thief. I doubt she's been out the back here for years. It seems someone must do a shopping for her. I never see her go out. Well, somebody's cleared that lot at some point. And then apparently Baba's son is big on solar power, so I would assume that's probably his. It's kept quite neat down by the house. And then Baba's really our only neighbour for the next quite a long way. And all these houses are sadly derelict. That was somebody's pride and joy once. And over there. And that one is empty behind the solar farm. I like this one. Good solid walls and windows. Well, it's not got any windows, but if it had windows, they'd be good solid windows. Oh, that's what I love about it. Imagine sitting in your bedroom up there, looking out over that. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? But somebody still lives here. This one's double glazed. They've got the polytunnel up. The grapes are reasonably looked after. Yeah, one of those would be fine for me. Just down the side of the house, you know. Yeah, look, it hasn't got a single window even back there.
Oh, I did it last year.
Yeah, he did. Shh, we're on film. Yeah, so that's number 9. And then this one, I think this one is inhabited, or if it's not, someone's using it for the land. But it's got double glazing and things. I assume someone lives down there. This is where the bulls live. There they are. It's staring at me again. They're so big. Don't moo at me. I'm scared of you. Not you. I'm not scared of you. They are behind those trees. I assume this one's empty. I think it's a good big house, that. If we were in the market for selling lies and dreams to people, we could be saying what a great house project that would be. Hello, large cow. I'm always glad to see you, so I know you're not a beef sandwich. All right, don't kick your leg back. Has he got his willy out? Oh my goodness. No, it's not for kids. Now, is there someone live there, or is that the same jacket that was hanging up there last time we came? This is the route we intend to walk the dogs when we bring them. Hello, cow. Hello. When we bring them over. This way takes you down to the village to a farm. Strasty. And this one takes us to the spring. This is my preferred route. Look at that.
Fine tin fence.
That's a good fence, that. There's some animals behind there. This is lovely. This is actually my favourite part of the village. I like this even better than where we live. Oh, we've been blocked off, oh no. So we're fairly sure Josef and Stefan live round here somewhere. And this is where Miro the dog used to sit waiting for his mum to come home. But Stefan's taken him in now.
Good morning. See?
Oh, no, it's not going to come down anytime soon, is it? It's a nice little property, that. A nice little house. It's so well maintained down here as well. Look, there's somebody over there who's got bees. And that's a remote bit of the village up there, isn't it? But this is pretty much the end of the village, isn't it? We think. We're going to explore. We've left our door open again. We do this every time. Sometimes we get lucky and Josef's goats are wandering around down here. They're hungry. My editing skills aren't brilliant. See, I'm thinking if we walk through the spring and go left rather than right back to the village, I'm assuming we'll be able to walk the dogs around there. Fabulous renovation project. Two delightful houses on one plot. Nobody needs roofs anyway, it's practically a homemade skylight. And I love this bit because it's got its own, it's like, even got its own little village square, hasn't it? It's like a little village of its own. Well, this is a village spring. I'm personally very fond of this spring water. I don't care what Susanna says about it, the tap water tasting nicer. I like it. It's making me want to wee though. And some goats. Okay, dog. It's okay. Yes, we like you. You're wagging your tail. You're not very threatening. Oops. Do not fall. Right, that's our future dog walk decided. Suppose we better finish up getting everything put away. Ready to roll, eh? And that's that. Yeah, won't be back for a while now. I have got some videos of my house and my garden and me attempting to speak to my neighbour in terrible, taxi, strasty, dobre type fashion. The sentence I've heard more than anything from every Bulgarian I've met this week has been mnogo robote, which I'm probably saying completely wrong. Lots of work. We've been doing a lot of work. The journey back was fairly uneventful. I felt like a terrible wife because we had to drive so slowly because we were so frightened all the tyres were going to pop. We literally pulled up at Sofia Airport at like 5:20, and Chris's flight was 6 a.m. So we got to the car hire place, and I just went, I'll deal with this. Go, go, go. I love you. Go. And sent him off, and he did have to actually physically sprint for his flight. And then as I was sitting waiting for check-in to open for mine, I saw this kind of like emo couple, and they were just standing like hand clasped, with their foreheads pressed against one another, and he'd kind of enveloped her in his cloak-like coat, and they stood there with their foreheads against each other for 40 minutes until she had to leave. And then when she did leave, she went up the escalator backwards going, and he stood at the bottom going at her, and then he walked slowly away. It was very sad, and I was thinking, God, I'm a terrible person. I just went, go, 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 love you, go, go, fuck off, mine. I got upgraded for the first time ever on a flight. I assume they double booked my seat. And it is just my luck that I got upgraded on the shortest flight in the entire universe. Sofia to Istanbul takes like 55 minutes. And they were literally, I was sat in business, and they were literally like hurling peanuts and hot towels at us because they had to get all the luxury in before we landed. And then they brought our breakfast, which was unbelievably good, and it was like on plates. It was really, really fancy. And then about 10 minutes later, we'd hardly even got started, and they were like, we're landing, give us your plates back. We're all trying to cram as much food as we could into our gobs before we had them confiscated. And the people in economy didn't even get a sandwich. It was that quick. And then I had a stopover in Istanbul. That was no problem. Yeah, made it home for about 9:30, grabbed a taxi from the airport. I think they've got used to me now. I look as if I belong because none of the taxi sharks who charge like 80 manat for a journey even bothered to approach me. I just yangoed myself one. I was home for 10 o'clock. I've had today off. I've done some food shopping, had a lie-in, and work again tomorrow. So I hope you're not too sick after watching those videos. I will try and put another one together of the house, but the filming on that is shocking. I seem to have done it all in like mass close-up for some reason, so it is really sickening. I might not be able to use it. I'll put it on with a warning. But for now, I'll see you next time. Peace out.